Jones. So you have him, I believe, at RB19. We have him at RB13. It's pretty simple for me. It's not even so much of the 7 game split with and without Devontae Adams. The massive target share he sees, but it is going to be tough for him not to see a massive target share in this offense, right? They don't really have anybody else. I mean, yes, Christian Watson's there, but I don't know how big of a factor he's going to be. But they didn't really bring anybody else in. I guess
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, slamming Sammy is still there.
We can't count Sammy Watkins, okay? It gets cold in Green Bay, and the Lizard King is going to go into hibernation, okay? Just we'll throw that out there.
Yeah, and so but other than that, though, I mean, like I think we could be talking about 18+% target share for Aaron Jones. Like it's not out of the range of possibility. He's still going to come in and get his probably 12, 13 carries a game as well. AJ Dillon is going to still be a factor here in this offense as well. But I just think with all this pass catching work, like he's looking very similar, with obviously a much better quarterback and not as much even in his way as DeAndre Swift.
So my problem with Aaron Jones is how much higher does the freaking target share go? I mean, last year he was 10th. The year before that, he was 5th. And just because Devontae Adams is not there, like, look, Devontae Adams was the end-all, be-all of everything for Green Bay's offense. He was the target hog and stuff like that. What I could see for Aaron Jones, and the reason why I have him lower, is I think that A.J. Dillon is going to factor into this backfield. Like, he is going to be a part of it.
Oh, for
we
sure.
saw that last year. And I'm not even saying, like, we saw down the stretch where A.J. Dillon was their red zone back. Hell, he was competing. Him and Aaron Jones were running, like, basically the same amount of routes, except A.J. Dillon got all the red zone work, and he outcarried him as well. I don't think that that's going to happen this year. But my question is that, like, how much higher can we get Aaron Jones' freaking target share? It's not like he's going from a 9% to, like, 17, 9% to 15, 16, things of that nature. We've seen previous seasons where Aaron Jones has gotten a 14% target share. I mean, going back to 2020. And I'm not saying that, like, he's not a good receiving back. He is. But he's not an elite receiving back. In the sense of, like, if you go back and you look at his yards per route run, last year, 15th, good, not great. The year before that, 11th, good, not amazing, 12th. And, I mean, they're good marks. Not going to shade Aaron Jones in that nature. But if we don't see all of this target share get put on Aaron Jones' plate, and they take Devontae's share and they say, look, we're just going to spread it out to everybody. We have Allen Lazard, we have Christian Watson, we have Robert Tonyan back. If all of those guys are there, Aaron Rodgers just says, look, like, I'm not going to hone in on one guy. That's fine. A.J. Dillon can also get work in the passing game. Like, to be honest, I was really surprised how good he was as a receiver. I never saw that coming in his game. And it's not just to say, like, oh, he didn't catch passes in college. Like, everybody points to volume stats for guys in college and say, like, well, they got 20 receptions every year in college. They're going to be a good receiving back. And people say, like, okay, well, Javonte Williams is not a good receiving back. And I'm like, you're absolutely brain dead if you think that. But I never saw A.J. Dillon being that good of a receiving back. So seeing that he crested 2 yards per route run last year, even in a small sample size, was impressive to me. So I think if we do see the target share bump, I don't know that Aaron Jones just walks into all of it. I think that Devontae's target share could be liquidated out to a bunch of wide receivers, and the tight end position, considering that they're going to get Tonyan back, he is a massive upgrade over DeGuara and Mercedes Lewis-ass, who needs to just go retirement. Like, that, he just needs to go retire. Just go sit on the couch, dude. It's all good. I see it getting liquidated out, and I see A.J. Dillon also factoring into the target share as well.
Well, I don't think he's going to get all of Devontae Adams' target share because,
but how high do you see it going, Kev? Like, do you see him getting up into the Austin Eckler, or not even that? Do you see him getting up into, like, that 18% like DeAndre Swift got?
We have to remember, too, though, like, they are more than willing to use him, like, as a wide receiver. Like, they did it last year. They will send him deep. He is a good pass-catching running back. Like, he is a little bit different than some of these other running. So a lot of these running backs, they're just getting dump offs. They're not getting designed pass plays for them. Out there running routes, and stuff like that, right? And so yes, I do think so. Like they are devoid of talent that they can depend on, and we have to remember Aaron Rodgers. If Christian Watson is dropping a bunch of balls and all this stuff, Christian Watson's ass is going to be sitting on the bench. Like that's how Aaron Rodgers rolls. Like he will tell you, sit the fuck down. Like if he is not, happy with you. Like we've seen it time and time again. And so if he doesn't, so there's a lot of factors here. Like I don't know who's going to get the target. To be honest, yes, I think there's a good chance that it's Allen Lazard because his familiarity with the offense, his chemistry with at least
I like
for
Lazard
this
a
1
lot.
year for year one. I think that's kind of where we come in on some of this stuff. And so yes, I think it's well within the range of possibility that we could be looking after the end of this year that Aaron Jones ends up getting, 80, 85, maybe even 90 targets this year. It's definitely in the range of possibilities for him, for them to utilize him more. And, I think we can start seeing more of, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones on the field at the same time. Like, they're not a team that has a ton of weapons right now. And so they're going to have to get creative with the way they utilize it. The biggest question, I think, on some of this stuff too, obviously his age. He is getting up there. He's 27. He's going to be almost 28 by the end of this year. But the efficiency is still there. I mean, he was 11th in yards per touch last year, 9th in yards created per touch. We already mentioned 15th in yards per run. So he is still just as efficient as he's always been. That's kind of what he's been. To me, I just think that the target volume is not going anywhere, and it's probably going to get higher than it was last year.
Here's my other question. Do we see a less efficient, because here's the other thing I kind of baked into a little bit of Aaron Jones's projection, is the offense as a whole. Do we see Green Bay be as efficient as an offense as they have been with Davante Adams spearheading the passing attack? As good as Davante Adams has been and their ability to move the ball, is this an offense? Because last year they were 5th in red zone scoring attempts per game. If they drop, even push them down to 10th or 12th, and they drop, hell, if they drop to a middle of the pack team as far as like how often they are in the red zone with scoring opportunities, and this offense takes a little bit of a hit as far as how efficient they are and how much scoring opportunities they have, does that also hurt your Aaron Jones projection?
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to a little bit, right? Like if this offense isn't as explosive, isn't as good as what we've seen in years past, and I think that's in the range of possibilities. But I mean, they still have Aaron Rodgers there. I mean, they still have one of the
That's
best
fair.
quarterbacks in the league, and so we've seen them produce and be able to score, still be a high-powered offense without Davante Adams when Davante Adams has missed time when he's suspended. So I mean, some of those things are I think will work themselves out a little bit here with this offense, and so we'll see. They're still in a pretty bad division as well. So, they're going to get to still place the Vikings, 2 times a year, who are average at best right now. The Bears are in shambles. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. The Lions are getting better. We have talked about that, but they're still not going to be a team that like, oh man, the Packers aren't going to be able to get past the Lions this year. Like that's not going to be a thing either. And so, they're still in a really bad division. So I think there's still a lot. And let's be honest, the NFC as a whole is not very good. I think there's a few teams that we can look at, but the rest of the NFC, I mean, all the talent is going to the the AFC right now. So, we'll see on that.
Are you listening? Damn.